Water on demand is blowing up. Well, tell us what happened with water on demand.
Over the last several months, going back into late fall of last year, I've been working with channel partners down in the Texas region. Texas, as everybody knows, is a hotbed of development and growth, everything onshoring and coming back to the United States. The big Samsung semiconductor plant in Austin being a good example of the investment being made here in the United States, which is driving an absolute boom in residential and commercial growth and into the Austin metro area. And it's like that in Dallas, San Antonio, Houston. So over the last several months, I've been working with several channel partners in the Texas region and these metro regions. And there is an absolute demand, an absolute enormous demand for smaller on-site micro-scale wastewater utilities to keep up with all the commercial and service-oriented development that's taking place to support all of this macro industrial growth that's underway. And so I've been working with these partners. These partners are savvy. They pay attention to the market. They understand what our business model looks like. They understand the water on demand model. And that is the one that has really piqued the interest of a lot of these smaller micro scale managed service utility customers. So last week I was in Austin. I spent 3 days working with several of our strategic partners in the region. And we have a number of different opportunities that we are actively pursuing right now, which are being driven by the end user and by the customer, who are just absolutely enthralled with the concept of water on demand, where we bring the whole package. It is the finance, it's the engineering, equipment, installation, and long-term managed services for like a 10-year term, a 20-year term, or what have you. So that is what we've been working on over the last several months in that Texas region. I am really excited about what I'm seeing and hearing from these partners and these end users that have really shown significant interest in water on demand.
These tend to be smaller units, right? And also much simpler, which is a big concern of mine.
It is. And that's another good thing about this particular opportunity and the market as a whole in this region. The systems are usually at 5,000 gallons per day or less, which is not a lot of water. It's not a lot of waste. But the real estate value potential that you can realize from an on-site 5,000 gallon per day system, the associated real estate could be worth tens of millions of dollars. It's amazing what this little small micro utility does to contribute to the overall developed value of it, whether it's a light manufacturing facility or if it's a services facility that's a new facility serving the communities that are growing and springing up all around Austin and these regions like that. So smaller systems, much simpler, easier to manage, less onerous from a technical perspective. There's no iron fist regulatory limits being imposed upon these types of customers. It is a perfect match for water on demand.
For water on demand, especially at our early phase where we really, I'm a big believer in sandbagging the problems and trying to keep things simple at first. I was in software and everything goes wrong in software. So starting with something that is very approachable. So you're saying that 5,000 gallons per day unit has a very high strategic value for these light manufacturing or residential facilities?
It's really amazing. So if you ever have an opportunity to go and travel in these metro regions, as you get beyond the urban centers and you're getting into the outskirts, the sprawl, the growth and the expansion of development in all directions is unfathomable. It's incomprehensible. The billions of dollars, the tens of billions of dollars being spent in real estate development and infrastructure systems, roads and water and sewer and all of that to keep up with the commercial, residential, light manufacturing, heavy manufacturing, unbelievable. But what's happening is the local public utilities have no capability whatsoever to extend public sewer in all of these directions in a timely enough fashion to support and keep up with the growth. When you need a certificate of occupancy in 4 months and your sanitary sewer, public sewer is 6 years away, that doesn't work. So the developers and the engineers turn to these decentralized utility systems. And an overwhelming majority of them are not large systems. These 5,000 gallon per day and less, that actually is a regulatory threshold in Texas. Up to 5,000 gallons per day, you fall under one type of permit. Greater than 5,000, you fall under a more stringent permit. And so when you have these managed on-site managed services, micro utilities, everything is specific to that individual lot base, that individual property boundary. It's a perfect model for water on demand. It really is. On-site disposal, but also zero liquid discharge concepts. In Texas, where the water is a premium, we talked about applying water on demand with a zero liquid discharge technical capability. And that right there, I would not be surprised to see us deliver one or two of those systems this year.
So for our audience, let's explain briefly what ZLD consists of.
All right, so ZLD, zero liquid discharge. And what that means is you consume your potable water at the sink, at the tap. It gets converted to wastewater. You flush a toilet, so you generate wastewater. So instead of discharging the wastewater to the local environment, what you'll do is you'll treat it to an exceptionally high standard, polish that water, and recirculate that water back into the building for toilet reflush, cooling tower water. There's a number of ways, and you can continually recycle that water for a fairly lengthy period of time. And that way you're minimizing the consumed water, the purchased potable water that you purchase at the meter. So that's an example, and the technology has been there for the last 10 years, but this is the perfect application for those types of things.
So really, we're talking about reuse, recycling, right? That's really what it's about.
Yeah. It is. Zero liquid discharge. Zero liquid discharge is a fancy word for reuse and reclamation, wastewater reuse and reclamation.
Well, whatever gets it done, right?
Yep. Just another way of skinning the cat.
So the state of Texas is pushing this. Who's behind zero liquid discharge?
The market. It's a combination of forces, a combination of factors. The pressures on the industry to keep up with and to provide sustainable wastewater service. First off, it's all about providing wastewater service. It starts there. But then you have to figure out each site might be a little different. Each application may be a little different. If you're in a location where your property is just not big enough to support an on-site drain field system, zero liquid discharge is an absolutely viable path forward. It's sustainable. It is super green as far as conserving water resources.
Sure.
So it's a factor. It's a multitude of factors that contribute to using that type of technology.
So it's not just regulatory. They have a commercial incentive to actually do this.
They do. I will tell you, it's site specific and it's commercial incentive. It really is. If you are looking to realize the real estate value of a piece of property, especially in a growing region like the Austin metro region, if you can't wait on public sewer and you've got the land resource available to you, you can take advantage of the 5,000 gallon per day system, the permitting regulation, and this zero liquid discharge concept, and you can deploy those very effectively and incredibly fast, which helps you as a developer get to where you need to be with your site development, your building, and your final certificates of occupancy.
What does this mean in terms of being able to multiply numbers and get into a cookie cutter type sales situation?
In this particular instance, and I'm going to focus on the Austin metro region. In that region, and working with our channel partners down there, when I questioned them about what is the addressable market for these 5,000 gallon per day type systems, the message that I hear from our partners is it's in the hundreds of systems per year. Now, that may not seem like a lot, hundreds of systems, but we're talking when you go hundreds times 5,000 gallons per day, it adds up very, very quickly. It is a huge market. By the wastewater industry standards, is a huge addressable market. So what that means is that with this type of demand, addressable market and demand, we with our Modular Water Systems engineering team, we have developed what we call our commercial series treatment package. And this is a package that is geared for the TCEQ, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. This TCEQ based design and treatment package is set up so that we can go in, check all the boxes that the state of Texas is concerned about, and we can deliver a very standardized, rapidly delivered on-site treatment system that you could apply for these 5,000 gallon per day systems. And it could be on-site disposal, or it could be a zero liquid discharge concept. This size range is perfect. It's not a big, complex equipment package. Very manageable, easy to deliver to the site, easy to manage and install, durable, sustainable. It leverages our heavy plastic manufacturing capabilities. It's geared perfect for this type of market. It allows us to really scale our manufacturing and to achieve this assembly line manufacturing concept that we've been pursuing now for the last several years.
That's amazing. What would be, if you were selling it, what would be the price range of such a unit?
Basic package, the basic entry-level package, if you're doing on-site drain field disposal, drip irrigation, low-pressure discharge disposal at 5,000 gallons per day, our entry-level system is right around 100,000 gallons, and it's a single-tank design. It's a pipe in and it's a pipe out, and it's a single power connection with remote monitoring capabilities. So it's not just a dumb plug-in. It's not a fire-and-forget type of system. It is a really actively managed intelligent application for advanced wastewater treatment. So about 100,000 gallons, depending on what options. And then it's like going to the
$100,000.
$100,000 for that package. And if you come to us and you need upgrades, you want to add an equipment building to protect your equipment, some of the external equipment that's like aeration blowers and control panels, we can add a control building. It's like going to the dealership and checking boxes to select the options you want on your vehicle.
So it could get up to 175, something like that.
Right now, 150. Yeah, with the modular equipment building that comes with it and an effluent pump station, 150. That's a good number. 150 is a really good number.
Okay, and so it's not a lot of money, but really, what these partners are interested in is that over hundreds of units, it dramatically reduces the capital expense for them, and they can just commission it. And it also sounds like the customer then essentially is just paying on the meter. We become the private utility for them. And what I like about it, because I've been very concerned in larger installations, you get into a network management problem, especially if you're required to meet certain effluent standards that have to be monitored in real time. And I started being concerned that and this is why, of course, we have a letter of intent to acquire a software company specifically to create that. But what you've told me is this can be run on a regular customer service basis without a complex software network. Correct.
That's another big upside to this particular market application. The technology is really straightforward. We do have a remote monitoring and control capability, but it's not super complex. The regulatory industry that oversees and that dictates compliance, it's not an onerous process. And our channel partners, this is the part I like about this particular market opportunity for us. Our channel partners are already in place. They are already in the network working with engineers and contractors and regulatory agencies. So they have an immediately addressable book of business. So all we've got to do is just really tap in and really start selling these systems and bringing these systems online. Our channel partners, they end up being our de facto installers. So we don't have to work for that. We don't have to look at they become our licensed contract operators. So we will be forming, and we're already doing that now, forming strategic relationships, setting up partnerships to service this market here in Austin.
Well, that's so exciting because, first of all your design is simplified to one cookie cutter unit. So and the second thing, of course, is as we capitalize the company, I was talking about this with Sean Shoemake at Plastic Welding Fabrication, who is, of course, our strategic partner, and we have a letter of intent to ultimately potentially acquire him. He was excited about building ahead and filling his lot with hundreds of these units built ahead of time. At that point, Dan, we become order takers. We're like, okay, you ready? We're shipping it out tomorrow, right? How cool is that?
That is very cool. But again, it's all part of the vision that we've had for these last several years, is to get to that point where we can start mass producing these things. And we put them on the yard, and when the customer needs it, they call up and they can take immediate delivery. That is unique to this industry because a 5,000 gallon per day treatment system is not a You don't find those setting on the yard at other facilities. It just doesn't exist. It just doesn't work when you get to that size. And what will be really cool about this is that our manufacturing model and our approach to the tank delivery system, it really facilitates pre-manufacturing and having these units ready for immediate purchase and delivery to the job site.
Well, 100 units a year at 150,000 is $15 million, which, takes care of a lot of your quota. Now, one of the issues, of course, is that essentially Modular Water will end up being paid by the Water on Demand Fund. You're still going to get your cash. You're going to be cashed out as a business unit, like GM Financial, right? GM Financial pays the dealer. The dealer's done. Now GM Financial carries the car with the driver. In this case, Water on Demand as a fund goes ahead, is commissioning the unit. Modular Water builds it, ships it out. Water on Demand is the quartermaster, paying everybody out, paying you, paying the local partner, paying for service, charging the appropriate per gallon rate, and returning dividends to investors. And it makes your sales process very slick. You're not having to collect $150,000. You just get to sign a piece of paper, and you get $150,000. Thank you very much. Kind of works well, doesn't it?
It does. I would tell you, it is the one thing that probably makes this model accelerate rapidly. The old school conventional funding methods, again, I've always told everybody for the last 10, 15 years in this industry, the funding element and trying to get your brain wrapped around the cost of these things. And if you're a developer and you've got to come out of pocket for $100,000 or $500,000, depending on what size system you're buying, I don't care what it is, it represents a really big financial obligation. So when you look at the GMAC and the GM finance model, and you think about Water on Demand being applied in that method, I mean, the analogy and the comparisons are exactly the same. You get a car, they provide the financing, you pay your monthly premium or your monthly, whatever your monthly payment is, lease payment, but you also, what you get is over the life of the ownership of the car, much like on Water on Demand with our system, instead of getting free oil changes, you get a filter change, an air filter change, or you'll get a submersible pump replacement or a little aeration blower replacement. All these things are built in and become standard, and you don't have to worry about it. It's all on a preset, on a preventative maintenance schedule. We bundle everything into a single cohesive package that really pulls all these disparate parts and pieces together that have really plagued this industry and made it really onerous and difficult to accomplish. So we have simplified the complex.